Welcome to the Fight with Depression podcast, the podcast for people who want to improve their mental health. My name is Christopher Boussard, and once again, I have Molly with me.
Hello.
So today, we are going to kind of be addressing mental health as a whole and asking the question, is mental health awareness a fad? So I've been I don't trying to bring attention to mental health for a very long time. And it seems that lately it's been kind of a popular topic where people are starting to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, but I think it's very needed, and so it's encouraging that people are speaking up more about it. So in that respect, I think it's a good thing.
I think it is needed. And I mean, we're going to be getting to this in a little bit, but I mean, with looking at the way things are like fads, and I think of, I guess, clothing and what's popular and I don't know, music, or I guess that's not really a fad, but that's, you know, popularity and everything. But it seems like um, people are kind of maybe starting to exaggerate some of their symptoms or some of the things they're telling stories and kind of exaggerating things maybe to seem make it seem like it's a little bit more excessive than it is. I don't know. Is that a
Well, I think it's I mean, honestly, like anything. So what was it? May? Was it May that was Mental Health Awareness Month? Um, it's kind of a monthly thing. You have um, a month for everything now. You know, you've got Breast Cancer Awareness Month in, is it like October or November? And you've got
I think it's September.
September. I don't know. It's one of those months, you know. You have um, uh,
Everything.
Black History Month in February. You have, I mean, there's a month for everything. It seems like now, and so on one, you know, respect, it's great to be talking about it more. But at what point are you drawing attention to something not for the problem, just to draw attention to maybe something that's not quite there?
Well, and I put up a post about it and said that it's at the begin, I think it was toward the beginning of May, and said, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and but I did address the fact that I don't like these monthly awareness things. I can't honestly, I can't stand them. They have their pluses because, well, you're bringing attention to something that should people should pay attention to, but then the fact that, are you negating it the rest of the year?
Well, you move on to the next month, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah, check your box, mental health. Okay, I paid
yeah.
attention to that. The next month is whatever it is. Oh, so now I have to jump on that bandwagon. And it shouldn't, that's kind of what it seems like when you have a month that's dedicated to whatever it is. It's kind of like a bandwagon. People jump on and you see all these social media posts about it, and you know, it's in the stores and it's this and that. And I'm not going to get too detailed because I don't want to get in trouble, you know, or offend anybody, but there are certain months where people are way more outspoken than they are anytime throughout the year on that one topic. And you probably wouldn't even know that they were an advocate for this or that was important to them if there wasn't a month dedicated to that. So they can jump up and.
So I guess to that point, because I've been, like I said, is it really a fad? Is mental health awareness really just a thing that we like to pay attention to once a year, 1 month out of the year, or something whenever we can draw our attention or post, find something else to post on social media for the month or whatever it is, and then we just forget about it. The people who are saying, "Oh yeah, I'm really in a bad funk this month, or I'm going through this and that, and um, then it just disappears. It goes by the wayside for the rest of the year until next May when we start paying attention to it again.
Yeah. Um, if you're looking for an answer, and I'm not sure that you are, I don't think you are at all, but I'm going to answer this. I think, yeah, mental health awareness is a fad. I think that these all the months where they dedicate to something is a fad, but I don't think it should be that, because mental health, I mean, it can't be defined to one month. Just like Morgan Freeman talks about Black History Month, he's like, why is my history regulated to one month?
God.
Like, this doesn't make sense.
This is who I am.
Yeah,
12 months out of the year.
The
it's not
Why
just 1 month
yeah
out of the year.
And I'm not quoting him, I'm paraphrasing what he said, because I don't have the actual quote, so don't get mad. But I think that you got to look at it. Okay, it's good to bring awareness, but is it the right kind of awareness, and is it really helping?
So I'm going to jump quickly ahead and then come back, but I hope it is a fad. I really do. And I think in some ways it is. But like I said, some people kind of exaggerate things to get their point of view across, or to ride the bandwagon, or to seem relevant, or whatever. But I mean, I would like to get to a point where people recognize what's going on and call it like it is, and not have to either build it up or downplay, life, because that's what it is. It's life for the people who don't want to just pay attention to it for a certain amount of time, but have to deal with it for the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, I mean, if we want to look at the good things that maybe having, a month dedicated to mental health or whatever, it brings awareness. But people are talking about mental health more, and this wasn't always the case. I mean, if you just get personal, this wasn't the case for you, Christopher, for a very long time. You did not want to talk about your mental health and I don't want to put words in your mouth and say the reasons that you didn't want to talk about it, but the fact is you didn't. And there still is very much a culture out there that doesn't talk about it, that you're viewed maybe weak, or you're, those things don't need to be brought up. Let's just brush over it. Oh, you'll get past it. Let's move on. And I think the good thing that has come out about it is people are recognizing mental health is just like physical health. It is part of your body. You need to pay attention to it. I mean, if you're sick, you're going to do everything you can, in your body to get better. So if you're struggling mentally in some way, why not address that and figure out ways that you can seek help or help yourself, or, whatever it is.
Well, and that's why I think I really don't like the whole mental health awareness thing, because what it makes it seem like is you're trying to bring attention to people who have a mental illness, and that's all it is. That's, somebody with lifelong depression, somebody with schizophrenia, somebody with bipolar disorder, that we want to draw attention to these things. And people are going, I don't want to fall into that category. I don't want to be labeled as that. I don't want to be labeled as having PTSD. I don't want to be labeled as being depressed. I don't want to be, so part of that is I really don't like that mental health awareness thing, because that's what it gets thought of. That's how people think of it. And when you say, oh, we're bringing awareness to mental health, it's not like, oh, pay attention to me because I suffer from depression.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that I really hope it is a fad, because this isn't what I want to do. I'm not trying to say pay attention to people who suffer from depression, people who pay attention to somebody with bipolar disorder or PTSD. Those things need to be recognized as any other event. Somebody comes back from war with PTSD. Why is that frowned upon where somebody comes back with a missing limb and they're recognized as a hero? What's the difference? They're not weak for having PTSD. That's your body's reaction. Yeah. And I don't want it to be something where people just label these people and everything. I don't want it to be like hey, I'm drawing attention to people who suffer from these. But part of that is, like you said, it's physical health. And I mean, I guess we'll just go to my last point here, because I think we've kind of what.
Well, I mean, what I was going to say on that is that I think the majority of people who are struggling in some way, shape, or form, like really struggling with their mental health, that's not a public battle that they want broadcast out. That's a personal battle that they need in their time to take, in front. I mean, how many people have we come across in the past who were like, I mean, just with you, people had no idea that you struggled with this until you kind of spoke up and spoke out about it. And you don't want to shine the light on people who are struggling, and make them feel like something is wrong with them, I guess. If that makes any sense at all. It's not like, oh, look at you. Oh, you have bipolar disorder, right? And making it a big thing. No, it's about just being awareness that there are people who are suffering with anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever it is, all across the board. And we just need to be respectful.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, though, is because when somebody has wants to work on their physical fitness, they're not shamed for doing so. If like I haven't been physically active in 6 months because I've been suffering from something else. I have been suffering with a physical ailment, a back injury that has caused my physical, gut to grow. Am I being shamed because of my physical appearance? No. But why? Because I'm going, well, man, this has happened in my life, something out of my control, and now I have to get back into shape. Do I feel bad about it? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, it sucks because I have to get back into my physical routine. But somebody who's suffering from, PTSD or anything like that from a certain situation, it shouldn't be frowned upon. It shouldn't be thought negatively. And that's why I'm saying I want to reach a point where we're done with the fad. We're done with this, hey, pay attention to me because I have this issue because of whatever is going on in my life. Instead, I'm being proactive and I'm going out and doing something to maintain and improve my mental health. Yeah, I have an ailment that makes it more difficult for me than for others to maintain my mental health. The same as somebody with a physical ailment is going to have a harder time keeping in shape. So instead of just thinking about it as like, oh no, this guy wants to talk about our feelings or this and that. Like, no, I want to do something for my physical health. I want to do something for my mental health.
Well, I think it's kind of like breaking the stigma in a sense that, making the mental health awareness, it's kind of like, oh, here's this new thing that, oh, make sure that you pay attention to this. And like we said, mental health is just as important, as physical health. And it shouldn't be judged or frowned upon or thought of as anything negative. It's a part of life, and everybody is going to struggle at some point with their mental health, no matter how big or little it is. Everybody struggles with that. So let's just make it an everyday thing that you care for your body and you care for your mental health as well.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is like, let's get past this fad
Yeah.
of, we're gonna talk about our feelings. We want to draw attention to every little detail about these things. And I mean, I think I'm kind of doing that. We're doing that to an extent. Maybe with, the posts I put up or whatever, but what I would like to do is, you go to the gym or you go out for whatever to improve your mental health or your physical health. And, people, I think, you look at the CrossFit people and all these, I think it's like a healthy competitive nature where like, oh no, CrossFit's better because of this. And, nobody's being shamed because they're doing CrossFit. I mean, well,
I'm sure there are people.
I'm sure there are, but people do CrossFit, people do, whatever it is for their physical health, and they tease them and everything, but it's, people draw attention to it. It's a good thing. It's recognized. And why don't we do that for mental health? And it's not just going to a therapist or whatever, but a lot of those things, like, we talk about Revital. We're doing a lot of these big things with Revital Colorado right now to draw attention to them. And so I think a lot of that with first responders, it should just be like, oh, what did you do for your mental health? Oh, Revital put on this this outing that I went to. We had a great conversation. We were throwing axes or we were doing archery or whatever. Those are all positive for your mental health, and it should just be part of life.
Well, it's self-care, right? It's I have a coach in real estate, and I tend to sometimes break off a little bit more than I can chew and kind of go for some big, aspirations. And he reminded me just yesterday, he's like, Molly, in all of this, just make sure, what are you doing for you? And it's not like, oh, I need to go buy myself something or do something nice. It's his way of saying, you're putting so much focus onto all these other things. You need to be paying attention to your mental health, to yourself, to do something so that you can't fill somebody's cup when yours is empty. And so it's making sure that your cup is still full and that you're doing things to take care of yourself. And I do want to push back on something that you said, Christopher, because you had said something that about you don't want, oh, look at me, I struggle with this, or oh, feel bad for me. And you mentioned something about the posts that you're putting up. And I'm going to say, I do not feel in any way, shape, or form that comes across as, look at me, I struggle with anxiety, or I struggle with depression, feel bad for me, or pity party, or anything like that. I do think there are many people who have that mentality, but I don't think that what you're doing is that, because in order for that to happen, those people, or you, I'll just say, you're doing something proactive. You are not just, you're taking care of your mental health by writing, by doing photography, by doing these podcasts, by doing the things that you enjoy that help fill your cup, that help, keep you going. It's the problem is when somebody's going, we'll just take the weight thing, right? Because in these past 6 months, you're not the only one who has their pants fitting a little tight right now. It's like we both do. But if you're not doing something about it and you're just sitting there complaining and constantly bringing awareness to it, that like, oh, look at me, feel so bad for me because I'm this and that. That's when the problem comes in, when you just want the attention for your, oh, I've put on 10 pounds, but I'm still going to sit here and eat ice cream and pizza all the time and just complain to everybody I put on 10 pounds, but I'm not going to work out or eat healthy, blah, blah, blah. That's the issue.
So Molly just did air quotes I just want to bring that up. She was doing air quotes on a audio only podcast.
I am not Italian, but I do talk with my hands a lot. I'm doing this for you can tell how much she's paying attention to what I say. But I hope you're listening to me too.
I am.
Okay,
So
good.
that brings a segue, because I think we're wrapping up our time here. So I think that kind of brings up a segue that this is what we're trying to do here, is not just add to the negative, or add to the stigma, or just focus on something that is an issue without coming with a solution. So instead of pointing out the problems, that's what we try and do here, is just create solutions. So with that being said, I don't know if you go to thefightwithdepression.com. We are, I say we because Molly has been very much helpful in all this. We're evolving the show, the website, the company now. So we're trying to evolve all this stuff and add to it. So we now have, if you go to thefightwithdepression.com, there we have a store there, and you can buy t-shirts, and we've got a sweatshirt up there, and several of my photographs that we have. So if you go to thefightwithdepression.com under store, you can order whatever you want, and what we're doing with that is not just like, oh, I'm trying to get my brand out there. I mean, it's helpful to promote what we're doing, but the proceeds and everything like that go to help other people, not just with their problems, but help other people with solutions. So I don't know. Do you want to?
Well, it's the heart, right? The heart of this all started because it started 20 years ago with Christopher's heart going, I want to help people. And 20 years ago, his way of helping people was joining the fire service and dedicating his life to being a firefighter. And for 20 years, that's how he's helped people. But it's more than that. And the heart has always been there. And now it's going, gosh, there's so many other ways and so many other people that need help. And we're not, the money from the proceeds for the current sales and anything in the future is going towards helping people with their mental health by doing things, by helping them if they need help finding a therapist, if they can't pay for a therapist, if something like that, if somebody just needs to go out and go on a fishing trip, things that we can physically do to help other people. That's the goal, and that's the heart.
Well, and a lot of it is along the lines of what Revital Colorado does, is they take people out to do these events. It's helpful to get people doing things that are beneficial, for them physically and mentally. And I've talked about it before. That's why I do photography. So the photographs on there are things that I have gone out, and that moment has brought me peace. You guys don't, unfortunately can't receive my peace of mind by purchasing a photograph, let's say.
But maybe they can see it.
They can see it, but the proceeds for that photograph is like somebody who may need help mentally with their mental health. I'm gonna help you by teaching you how to make a frame for your own photograph. Let's let's go out on these photographing.
I like that. That's a good one.
Adventures, and I'll show you how to view the world as like as it should be, because a lot of times, especially first responders, we have this skewed version, whatever, of reality, and it's getting those people back to seeing the beauty behind a waterfall, a rock formation that's protruding out of the ocean, a sunset, so whatever it is, to see things that the way that maybe they used to, it just kind of helping them. And I can't. I'm not a millionaire. If I was, I would be just providing these services.
There's a lot of growth that we're working on, and this is a way that we could see to hopefully grow and make our vision come to fruition. And it's just one. Christopher's mentioned Revital a few times, and I got to experience my first Revital event last week, and I didn't really know what to expect at all, because honestly, we were making bouquets, and I had a blast because I got to talk to people that I've never would have met, before. Found some interesting connections, some people that I knew through other people, or we knew the same people, some people who had very similar stories to mine. And it was just a really nice way. And I got to go get away from, I love my children very much, but I got to get out of the house for an hour and a half and go spend some time on my mental health, on self-care for me. And it's super important. And we just want to kind of be able to do similar things, make people, help them in similar ways. And it's really cool. I don't know. So I hope you visit the store, and we're looking at getting hats and beanies, but that all takes time and money, of course. But we want to add more, photography, more more of Christopher's photography once he can get out of the house again, which should be hopefully very soon.
I sure hope so.
But yeah, so keep your eyes out and keep checking back for that.
Cool. Yeah, again, it's thefightwithdepression.com. And then I've got the blog posts and stuff like that. If you just want to look at, some cool pictures of ducks or, elk or whatever it is, I've got those on there. You don't have to buy them. They're just, you can look at them for free.
Yeah, that's true. But. And there was one thing that I wanted to kind of circle back to. And honestly, as I'm speaking, I just forgot it. So I guess I won't circle back, but maybe next time I'll remember what I said.
Stay tuned to the next episode where Molly remembers what she was going to say.
What I remember, what I forgot. Oh, that was the other thing when we were talking about the awareness and stuff. It's just if you yourself don't struggle with mental health right now or whatever, keep your eyes out, because somebody that is having a hard time. I mean, you may be aware of what they're going through, or you may not, but share this podcast with them, and share the website, and hopefully we can help bring them a little bit of hope through it.
If you're worried about the awkwardness, that's what I was worried about that forever, right? Is awkward, and it's still awkward for me, but you get over it, and it's not, people don't judge you. I don't know. My 2 cents.
I don't know. We just were able to have a moment yesterday, and I won't get too detailed. And we were able to speak with a couple first responders who willingly shared their stories that they weren't really necessarily supposed to. We were just there to kind of talk about some other stuff, and they felt comfortable enough to open up about some real struggles with their mental health that they had. And the encouragement that they received afterwards from several people, and the honesty was greatly, greatly appreciated. And Sometimes when you share something like that, it's amazing the impact that it can have on somebody else. Just to be honest and real and raw. And you don't always have to be that way, but man, I tell you what, it's just don't be afraid, and don't miss an opportunity to speak out if you have it.
Cool.
I don't know.
Anything else?
No, this is fun.
Okay. Thank you for listening. And once again, you guys are tired of hearing the name of it, but thefightwithdepression.com. So until next time, God bless.